Hello, it's Nancy today. I have come to visit you again, or you have come to visit me. That's right, I'm here, and you are arriving. I've been sitting here, I looked at myself there, and I have all this negative response to seeing myself. I need to not do that. I need to have a loving response. Let's look at me. There you are, Nancy. Yes, you look like weary and old. Well, but you see, my doctor says that if she could, the one thing that she could impart to all of her patients is to accept getting older, to accept aging. It's quite a grieving process because you're losing something. You're losing something that's really good. All the strength in your hands, like you lose it and you miss it. It's a very important part of you is your strength and your ability to walk around and pick things up and move them and create, look at things and say, oh, I see how that would be. And the only thing that would hinder you is whether or not you had the materials, not your body. Very interesting. She doesn't know she's aging, inside of there. She really doesn't know it. She talks about it all the time. But accepting it, and what if I'm accepting it too early? What if I'm not really aging? I mean, we all age. I'm 68. But what if I accept it and then I become that? I was sitting, it's very interesting to sit in Giant Tiger and be the person manning the kettle, the Salvation Army kettle. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, not Salvation Army, but they need volunteers, so I sit there sometimes. And so does Willem, but we're at different stores. So I was sitting there looking at people coming out of the cache, and so many of them just looked tired. They looked so tired. It was like between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock. So between 2 and 3, I guess. And all the people that had white hair or that looked like they weren't, they were one of us, in our clique of the people that remember what it was like to have your transistor radio. I loved my transistor radio. Then it broke or something. But I used to have it, and I would listen to this radio station that gave, teenager music. And I was young. But I would... And you could call in and you could ask for songs. I wonder what songs I asked for. That'd be interesting to know. But when you called in to ask for songs, you tell them who you are, but you could give them a name, a code name. So I was computer, way back then, before computers were a thing. I mean, a computer was something that took up a whole wall and that had reel-to-reel tapes. My parents invented the computers. My generation really perfected them and created phones. And the next generation has the phones and is happy to have phones. What has the next generation done? Well, they've finally gotten the electric car thing kind of released. It was as if it was owned by somebody that wouldn't let it be published or be produced. It was very strange because everybody knew about you could make electric cars, and my generation, we all wanted things like that. we didn't want gas, and we didn't want the gas companies, and we just wanted it to be better for the earth. But then there was also this thing about electricity was so expensive. I mean, heating your house with electricity was just about the most expensive thing you could possibly do. I don't know, is it still? We heated with oil on the farm, and that was very strange because I guess in being a Georgia girl, I grew up with electric heat. It was an all-electric house. But somehow my parents had a gas dryer. That would be my mom. It's an all-electric house. Oh yes, well just let me call my electrician, the gas man, and have him come over and fix things up for us. I had a little gas heater put in, and it stayed on the shelf in the laundry room above the dryer, which needed the gas. And you could take it out into the room if you ever needed to, if there was electricity was out, if you had a storm or something in Georgia. And you could take that heater out and you could put it down on the floor. I had my mom get that. And I don't know what their situation was. I remember there was one time when it was so cold in their house that they just stayed in bed. They just put all their blankets on and stayed in bed. You know, staying in bed is very enjoyable. I mean, you get it to the right temperature and it's just perfect. And if you've got your phone beside you, you can do everything you want. Anyway, so that was my memories of transistor radios and what our generation has done. Our generation is not getting very much credit anymore. They made amazing strides in getting rid of diseases like smallpox is all the way wiped off the earth. That was Bill Gates. He was very instrumental in doing that. And there's other diseases that have really been wiped off the face of the earth because of vaccinating. And I know there's all this conspiracy theory about vaccinating, but vaccinating's been around a lot longer than conspiracy theories, I believe. I mean, when polio was there and everybody would get polio and you'd have to be put in this container that would be an iron lung and it would breathe for you because your muscles would just, your muscles of your lungs wouldn't work. And you'd often be crippled. You'd be left crippled. Wasn't there a president that was crippled because of that? Because of polio? I suppose you're not supposed to say crippled anymore, but anyway, that's what happened. It's an actual word, and it's a verb that means to lose your ability to use a leg or two. So, what I was going to tell you about had nothing to do with any of this. It was that the sun is out. And it smells like and looks like April. This is what April looks like. There's some snow melting on the pond. There's snow there's ice. But the snow is mostly gone from the ground now. It's interesting when it does that. It's very lovely to sit here. And the ground, look at this. There was never any of this before. This was not here. And then we had a really wet summer a few summers ago. Or maybe, oh yes, it was the very late spring. And so all the water, the ponds were very full for a long time and there were beavers and things were backed up. And anyway, all this moss has come up. And if you get a drought, I suppose it will go, but it's amazing how much of it there is. I mean, it's flourishing. It came up inside of everything, underneath, see? I mean, the grass was already here. This is new stuff that's underneath it. You can only see little bits at a time. But when you look at the whole thing, you see that the whole thing has got moss there. So that tells me that it did not come from one spot and spread. There had to have been seeds everywhere that were not activated until they were well soaked. That's my idea. Could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I asked Willem once, I said, Willem, I hate it when I'm always wrong. Every time I open my mouth, I'm wrong. What can I do about it? And he said, well, you could just shut up. Yes, I could. And it would work. I wouldn't be wrong. Maybe some people do that already. You know, I've been sitting out here looking at this. This is my view here. I've been looking at this stand of willow. It's really beautiful. And you know what? It's not dead. The stuff that I have harvested earlier is drying out, but this stuff is still fresh, even if it's frozen. Just like a tree, you can touch a tree, a live tree in the winter. I mean, some people say, yes, of course, but think about this. Those trees out there, I mean, they look like wood standing vertical. But if you touch them in the winter, they are not cold. They're not cold like everything else is. But a dead piece of wood standing is cold. But you know, so okay, it's alive, but heat? The tree is giving off heat? Really? Trees give off heat? I mean, that's what animals do, and people. I mean, we give off heat, but a plant gives off heat enough to not be frozen. Very interesting. There's not a lot of heat. But if that were the case, then instead of cutting all the willow and insulating or something with it, it would be better to plant it really thick and have it right along. Like if instead of building a log cabin, you should have a house that's made of trees, that's all trees side by side, all the way around. And then, of course, if you cut a hole in one to make a window, you've just killed the top half of your tree. Well, I suppose there'll be places like that. But for me, that would be all the way around because I have to have windows on all sides so I can see. Because I don't really want to be inside, I want to be outside. You know, it was nice sitting here and knowing I didn't have anything that I had to do. Nobody was going to interrupt me. And it was a relaxing feeling to feel like nobody was going to interrupt me. I didn't have to go anywhere or do anything. Because, you know, the schedule is always in your face. You can sit and relax for a few minutes, but the schedule is right back there. Okay, come on now, Nancy. You don't have time to just do this forever. But it's very, it raises your dopamine, or is it your serotonin? It raises your serotonin to sit in nature and to meditate and probably to write. Raises your dopamine to accomplish things. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. I finally wound my way back to the aging thing. It was very interesting. Because for those of you, you know, it's interesting when I realize I've lost something else. I mean, these are like, it's almost like having been robbed, you know? Like, where did the strength of my hand go? It was there the other day. What's gone? Where did it go? What's going on here? You know, and you don't think, oh, well, this is a function of time and, you know, your body's getting older. It's like, what the heck? It used to work. There's no reason it shouldn't work. I haven't changed my way of life. I still do the same things. Well, maybe I don't. Do I do the same things? No, I do a lot less. And so I'm actually not using my hands as much as I did. But they're full of arthritis now. Oh, well. You see, once you throw in actual named ailments, then it's easier to accept. Well, I can't move because I have arthritis. Well, that makes sense, okay? I can't move because the pain is too great because of the arthritis. Once I do move, everything gets going and I feel much better. But see, if I can attribute it to the arthritis, then I can deal with the arthritis. It's a manageable thing. There are things about arthritis that can be learned, ways to fix things. You know, once you can name an ailment, you can fix it to a great extent. But this all-pervading, growing old, it's like, what a brick wall. You know, you've gone through something that you can't go back out of. It's a one-way door. And they're always closing behind us, always. It is the truth of the moment, is that the past is gone. Nothing will ever be the past again. And it's strange, you know, it's like you leave behind your ignorance as you learn. You're happy to go through a wall that leaves that on the other side. It's fine. I know more. I like knowing these things. I like knowing anything I know. I'm glad I know it. Knowledge is good. Knowledge is power. I don't know what it gives you power over. But knowledge is different from reading. I think people tend to confuse the two. You think that people that read are therefore more knowledgeable and wiser, and that there's some great benefit from doing a lot of reading. Well, is there? I mean, is there really? I learn not from what I've read, but from what I've done. I sit down here and I breathe deeply of this. And would I exchange this moment for reading? For sitting there with a book in my face inside? I mean, I could read outside, but then, you know, the light is a little aggravating. I could use my phone. You know, like, then, is that better than being here? No, definitely not. Being here and experience this right now. I mean, this is a beautiful spot. Without a place to hurry along to. I do have a place to hurry along to, but I'm trying to forget about that because it's not quite yet. It is 10:15, is it? Oh, no wonder I can't see. Yes, it's 10:15. So I have about an hour to be completely relaxed before I have to get up and go. I've had a problem lately with sugar. It's taken over my life. Yes, I am an addict. And sugar is the addiction. Sugar and wheat, and my goodness, does those things taste good. The sugar is still way too sweet. But I can't get, like, when I go buy cookies that are chocolate chip cookies, I'm buying them because of the way your teeth sink into them. That's why. I love the way your teeth sink into cookies. So why don't I just get something else that my teeth can sink into, like cookies? You sink your teeth in slowly and then they dissipate. And then you sink your teeth in slowly and then it all dissipates. And I just love doing that. Cookies are the thing. I made cookies all my life. I can make them right now. I can make them anytime. Speaking of which, I can't make them because I don't have any eggs. But I should. I think if I put my hair up, if I wash my hair and let it be fluffier, I think that this stuff I used is making it heavy. It's repair. And then I didn't rinse out the other kind very well. So I think those things make it heavy. Hey, this looks nice if I turn it around like that. There, that's better. Anything is better than nothing happening at all. There we go. It's not really true. But it looks good on my face, around my face when my hair is twisted. Anyway, I was thinking about Minecraft while I was down here. I was over at the swing, and how easy it would be on Minecraft to build a little bridge across here. It would be lovely to have a bridge across here. But my kind of bridges are just to get across without getting falling in the water. That's a bridge, is my bridges. I should have railings on them. But then you support yourself on the railing, and the railings are really not as strong. There's got to be a way to make a really strong railing on a bridge. Maybe there is. Maybe I just don't do it right. The way to make a strong railing is to hire somebody that makes strong railings. There, I like that one. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. The guy that builds good things is building a log cabin for his family. It's really neat to see it. He's very resourceful. They come over and they get minnows from our ponds. Minnows being any small thing. Once they're about that long, then they're fry. And then I guess when they become bigger than fry, then they're what? Fish? Or are they... I don't know what they call them at that point. But minnows are tiny fish. Remember guppies? We used to get guppies at the pet store. We had a pet store in Woolworths and another one in Grants. And we would go up to the pet store. Cynthia and I would go up to the pet store. It was at the top of the hill. We lived on River Hill Drive in Athens, Georgia. And up at the top of the hill was the shopping center. They had a pet store in there, and in the pet store they sold blue birds, yellow birds. I guess they sold finches and parakeets and canaries. And then they sold animals. They sold hamsters. And a long time later they started selling gerbils and guinea pigs. And mice. You could buy white mice, and you might have been able to buy white rats too. It was all little cages all on the wall. And there'd be like a few hamsters all curled up together, and you could buy a hamster or two. You could buy all the stuff. You could buy their little cages and their wheels that they would run around in, their endless wheels. We have those, don't we? I think I'm on an endless wheel. Just keep going and going and going. Even when I'm not going, I'm still going. I don't go in the right direction all the time. Oh well, that's another thought for another conversation. Shall we say goodbye? It's been nice having you out here. My fingers are starting to get cold. As I try to accept the brick walls behind me and realize what is behind them, it's okay to lose it. Oh yes, the great hope of everything is that in the resurrection, our bodies will be perfect. We will be in our bodies, which will be perfected. There will be no arthritis or pain, and we will have our bodies and be able to live in them forever with each other. We can do things with our bodies. We can move things around and create. We can do all kinds of stuff. It's going to be awesome. I'm totally on board for that. That's the consolation prize for getting old, is that on the other side is something really good. It's really good on the other side. I've been taking you with me in Minecraft. Did you notice that? It's not just I'm just playing a game and streaming it. I'm chatting with you guys, I'm in there saying, well, let's go explore this. It's like we're together in Minecraft and we're just doing stuff. Oh, do you think this would look better than that? I think I'm going to choose this one. We're making a place to go fishing where we'll be nice and safe. We have, protection above us and around us, and And we have conveniences like gates and fences and a boat and a chest and a crafting table. And we've got our fishing rod in the chest. And so we can get it out of the chest and we can just sit. You can get in the boat and you can go swim out and fish. Or you can just stand there beside the campfire and fish and cook it and eat it all at the same time. I like doing that. I like standing in front of the campfire. Campfires are nice. Even in the game, they crackle. They move, you know, the flames are going up and they're noisy. I like it. So anyway, that's what goes on in there, these long videos. I'm just living just as if I was cleaning my kitchen. Because in Minecraft, often I am cleaning up. It's like moving, making pathways in real life, except I don't get so much pain. And I have a lot better progress. But I have to come out here and sit too. And just be here because it's so beautiful. Sunshine. Sunshine, yellow, butter mellow. Turn that stupid fat rat yellow. That was Ron Weasley's spell he tried to put on his rat. His little wizard boys. Harry Potter. You know, it shaped our children. It shaped them. 7 years in a row, they get a new book and a movie. It really shaped our children. Star Wars shaped us. Star Wars and Star Trek. You know, our parents created those shows. And my generation turned them into realities. You know? We did a whole lot of man on the moon stuff. Not man on the moon, but shuttles and the space station. And Canada did the Canadarm. You reach it outside of a spaceship and you do stuff with it. You can make repairs. It's an arm that's on the outside. It's pretty cool, pretty innovative. I met a girl on a press trip in Switzerland whose dad invented Venetian blind cleaners, I think. Something about Venetian blinds. I don't think he invented Venetian blinds. I think those probably came from Venice. And they've probably been around for a long, long time. But I don't know. That's just my, I could shut up and then I wouldn't say things that are not right. It's nice to see you all. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. And I only know if you were here by the comments, so I like it when you talk. Then it's a conversation and not just a lecture. Lecture. But it is nice that I'm the only one that gets to talk because then I can just talk and talk. I don't have to stop for anybody. And I can't see if you raise your hand. All right, my hand is definitely getting cold. So I guess this is the end of this is about to happen. And this will soon be behind a brick wall of my past. Goodbye.